Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News, and day one of VCT Masters is over, and what a day it was. Major upsets on the day, especially the final series between OpTic and Xerxia. Gotta dive into that one because so much reaction, so many implications from the series as to what the rest of this tournament is going to look like. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Loads of support the last few days. Really appreciate it, guys. Firstly, this from cNed, the new coach, of course, of the 100 Thieves lineup. He says in reply to this tweet, those asking, roster update soon at TM. So the TM doesn't mean tomorrow, as some people thought. It just means like, soon TM. It's kind of a meme, standing for like trademarks, because often people say soon and then it actually is going to take an awful long time. But, he reckons promise there's going to be some update soon. So confirming some changes are happening. The team, I guess, that's theorized of Will, Stella, Derek, Bang, and Asuna. Will that come true? I guess we shall see. Wanted to mention this as well. So you guys might remember at Champions, when I believe it was Victor who was unwell, or tested positive during the Champions event. He had to play effectively in his own room and kind of isolate from the rest of the team. A similar thing will be going on here at Masters Reykjavik, and a member of Loud has actually just produced a positive result. Therefore, well, they might be able to play, who knows. I guess they play in a few days' time when the playoffs kicks in, so I guess if they can produce a negative test in time, which might be a challenge in just a few days, then they should be okay. But once again, not ideal. They do have like a LAN network built within the quarantine facilities, so it should be okay. It's just not ideal for these guys, as long as they feel okay. So a player from Loud has tested positive. That player is Aspers, of course, one of the most talented players on their roster, no doubt. He says he tested positive, but he feels okay, very mild and without symptoms. So he might not be able to play on the main stage with the team, depending on how things go over the coming days. But based on his initial feeling, he's going to be well enough to play. So that should be okay for the team. Of course, one of the teams with the highest expectations maybe coming in here, especially from the Brazilian sides. And of course, they get a buy through, as maybe Tarik is, and kind of Ethan is suggesting maybe shouldn't be the case, given how stacked these groups are right now. We'll dive into that too in a second. This also to talk about because, of course, X10 Crit, the former X10 Crit lineup now playing for Xerxia. They played later on in the day. The organization that they were involved with still yet to pay those players for the champion skin revenue. So unbelievable scenes. Some of these organizations in esports do boggle the mind. Hopefully Xerxia, I believe they are a better organization. So good to see them under a better new home. And if anything, playing better Valorant than they have in a very long time. We'll talk about that series at the end. Firstly though, DRX versus Zeta division. I wasn't expecting this series to be quite as comfortable as it was for DRX, but this was the most dominant series of the day. I like these ones, by the way, where they come out the VAD, right? So you kind of get this insight really into how the players are looking and feeling before the game. Kind of like a traditional sports match. I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, DRX dominated this series from start to finish. Really not that much to say. Game 1 Icebox, they won a round early on Zeta division, but after that it was absolute dominance from start to finish. Resurrections came through. 13-2 I think game 1 was, and then this game was ridiculous as well. Like, this was a round where almost Zeta division managed to win a round, but Buzz gets this crazy 3k spray down with the Phantom, and takes DRX to 5-3. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, just fantastic stuff. Very talented players on this DRX roster. Of course, Korean team, they take down Zeta division 13-2, 13-3 or something. The final series stats look like this. The Icebox was 13-2, the Haven was 13-3. You see dominance all across the board. Mako, Buzz especially. Mako goes 37-12 over the 2 maps. That's just absurd. Of course, they shall move on. They will play the winner of Fnatic and Ninjas in Pajamas. That match is coming up later on today. The second series was Crew versus Team Liquid. This I thought was good to see you screaming the guys having a good time. But Crew, a very good team. Not necessarily like a banana skin, banana peel team, but certainly a team you can slip up on very easily, right? And Liquid, of course, come in here. It was going to be tough to call who was going to win this one. They take the game 1 pretty comfortably, though, on the Fracture. At this point, they're up 7-5. And surprising to me, really, because offense on Fracture generally is a very solid, a very solid chance of getting a load of rounds. But a crucial retake here from the guys on Team Liquid takes them to 8-5. They close out every single round on their defense to win this game 13-5 as well. And then the Ascent was absolutely absurd. This round from Nevera was just phenomenal. He gets an ace at the end, an ace out of absolutely nowhere to bring them back into overtime. And as soon as they won this, you feel like, okay, wow, the momentum is now really in their favor. There were so many things to say about this game here. There were so many moments, so many highlights from both sides of the pitch, to be honest. But Team Liquid get the job done. They take it to overtime, and that is enough for them to close it all the way out. And they take it, I think, 14-14, maybe 16-14 it was in the end in favor of Team Liquid. So a 2-0, far from an easy one for them. But Crew dropped down to the lower bracket, and we'll see who they will play here in just a second. But 2-0 for Team Liquid. Game 1 was Fracture 13-5. Game 2 was 16-14 after a crazy overtime. As you can see, the comeback that Team Liquid made here with a few good rounds to avoid taking this series to Haven. But Yampy, Link, they had probably the standout performances right here on the Crew side. Definitely Kesner had his star star moments as well, but it didn't work out for the team in the end. They shall play the loser of OpTic versus Xerxia, and we'll see who that was here in a second if you guys haven't already guessed. So as OpTic say, game day in Iceland, they're getting ready to go, and of course that yay pictured right here, and for very good reason indeed. The start of this icebox was absurd. Xerxia got up 4-0 early on, and then yay just decides, okay, let me just take over the game real quick. The only rounds OpTic won, at least of their first few rounds of this half, were a yay 3k, then a yay 4k, and then another yay 3k, maybe the other way around. Like, those shots were just absurd, just straight up clicking it, no problem at all. And I mean, yeah, that's enough for OpTic to get over the line right here. They win their first round, they then lose a few more in a row, before yay then decides, okay, let me just take over and win you guys another round. So honestly, pretty ridiculous. I think the stats kind of tell the picture that yay is almost always dominating. Gets one kill with the tour de force, gets another one. Like, honestly, it just looks like it's just so easy for this guy. Just all the kills come to him, clicks on them, like, you know, no problem at all. But I think the stats suggest that Victor is kind of the key player to this team. When Victor plays well, they win pretty much all their series. When he plays badly, they almost always lose. So yay is kind of a guaranteed, but they need someone else on the team to play well if this team wants to win. But, you know, regardless, they make a good comeback here. OpTic bring it to like 7-7, 8-7 or something at that point. But, and even as Ezekiel says, yay loves a 1v9 on icebox, right? His teammates weren't really helping him all that much. He had to kill all the other team as well. Like, he was doing his best to get this team over the line. Doesn't happen though, so OpTic bring it back to 7-7. Crashes are kind of like, oh, what happened, guys? What happened to your advantage? And all of a sudden, it's 10-8 to Xerxia. Their offense kind of collapses, and then all of a sudden it's, well, 10-12. Xerxia get the defuse, and they win this game 13-10. So like, wow, okay, fair play. OpTic falls short here. I thought after the first few kind of sloppy rounds, they'd make the return. This, of course, the rematch, if I haven't mentioned it already, of a very important decider match at Champions between Envy and X10 Crit, when very similar rosters. X10 Crit took down Envy, as they were called at the time, and knocked them out of the tourney. Of course, at the time, Victor was unwell, right? He had tested positive and was in a separate room, so the discussion was, okay, with him kind of back in full force, like, this team should be able to take these guys down. Of course, also under a new organization, but it was not the case game one. But even after the game one, I was like, okay, fair play. OpTic go to Ascent, a map that they are genuinely very good at. Like, Icebox can be a bit weird sometimes. They're going to warm up and probably take this game too. And there were some incredible moments, but, you know, I'm not really sure what Ye's up to right here, but still, he falls short in the end. And early on, OpTic get a nice lead at Sushi Boys, just shutting down everyone on this side. Like, he did this so consistently, it was incredible, just getting all the frags. And yeah, this was 4-4 at this point, but still, OpTic continue going. The game is so back and forth, but a massively important round right here is that Sushi Boys just gets on the bomb and just straight up defuses it. Pros don't fake at all. Like, what a baller defuse that was, to be honest. Like, FNS, of course, had no HP, but still, very impressive stuff. Like, the kill to come in for his teammates, 1-2, and then just not ninjas the defuse. Like, you know, just a really ballsy stuff from Xerxia. And to be honest, OpTic felt, you know, somewhat caught off guard. They were single channeling and not really playing their kind of normal game. Maybe the pressure got to them to some degree. I saw a lot of kind of like Vandal sprays coming out of them, was the Xerxia guys who were taking their time, tapping on their heads. And like, played such a coherent game of Valorant, to be honest. Like, you know, super consistent, teamwork orientated, like just by far the better team on the day. OpTic's individual talent obviously took them close to taking this map, and we saw right here that when OpTic got on their defense, they managed to get a few kills and hold on to the game. Crashes coming in from heaven to make it to 10-11. And at this point, you're thinking, okay, overtime seems rather likely in this game. Doesn't go that way at all, though. Xerxia close out the series 13-10, and they go 2-0 against OpTic Gaming. So remarkable stuff. History repeats itself, right, from the X10 Crit versus Envy series. But, you know, just unbelievable. This puts OpTic and North America in general in such a tough position. I'll share real quick the reaction that Tarik initially had here, because he was excited to see how North America stacked up with the rest of the world. And he has a bad feeling about what this means for the rest of North American Valorant.
Kills.
Oh,
wow!
To potentially secure it, they cannot allow them to get cozy on the site.
Is he gonna get another through the smoke?
Not able to do much. The shock dart swings through his finesse pop, but Fox gets 3! Finesse left alone, and it happens.
What the f just happened?
Green wall shows its cracks as the North American representatives fall to Xerxia from Thailand.
The upset happens again. Talk about history repeating itself.
3 guys just died. Can we get a replay, please? They line up and spawn?
And it seems like same old problems right here.
I see Thrifties are gonna haunt us for the rest of our lives, man. The Thrifties, man. Oh no, this is not. I got a bad feeling about this, dude. I got a bad feeling about this for some reason. About the way they lost this match.
As FNS says from the OpTic side, terrible start from us. We shall recover. GG Xerxia. They played very well. They are not out of the tournament yet, but as I've described, these groups are GSL-style groups. Win 2 matches before you lose 2 matches. Now they've lost 1 match, they have to win their next 2, effectively is how it goes. And well, the next match they're going to play is up against Crew Esports, and that is going to be far from easy, especially if they play how they did here. So I wonder what really went wrong. Maybe they got a bit too confident coming into this series. FNS even tweeted a few days ago, don't count your chickens before they hatch. And maybe there was something of that going on with the OpTic camp, right? But they honestly seemed somewhat caught off guard with how well Xerxia were playing, and they look like a very solid team. So tough to digest this one, to be honest. We'll have to see how the rest of the tournament goes for these guys. And even as Patafan says, right, I took a pretty baller tweet from him, because he was part of that X10 crit squad when they took down this team initially. Now he's gone back to play Overwatch and stuff like that. And as he says, PTSD is a mental health condition that's triggered by a terrifying event. So basically saying that it happened to them again, right? They're taking it up against similar players, OpTic and Envy as they were at the time, once again fell short. Some reaction really within the North American scene, as Zekin says, not too worried about our region. TSM still undefeated in international play. Of course, Sentinels also undefeated this tournament as well. And even as Sideshow says, I thought pretty damning statements. I was shooting OpTic serious bail for their champs performance, but this is now a recurring underperformance issue, now at big events against international competition. Scared to swing and to punish, giving all the space and tempo away. Tomorrow is not going to be much easier versus Crew. Crew is not an easy team to get through. They are going to put up a hell of a fight. I believe they don't play them tonight, but they play them tomorrow. But, that's going to be an unbelievable series as well. Even as Asuna says, old 100 Thieves roster, the only thing that can save an A, undefeated against non-North American teams. Kind of confirming a Team J just coming through on that front. But even as Ethan says, the OpTic Xerxia game is insane. You also know what's insane? 4 teams already in the playoffs. That's the thing. 4 teams got the bye. Paper Rex, of course, Loud, and then, the top seeds from Europe and North America as well. So G2 and the Guard. But the Guard will have to save North America right through the bracket over there. But still, those 4 teams get the byes automatically through to the playoffs. Is that kind of too much of an advantage, given how tough these games are going to be? Or is that fair, given that they got the number 1 seed in their region? Also, doing kind of a 12-team situation makes it a little bit more complicated to determine which teams get through anyway. So I feel like the format they've gone for is good. And I'm not sure with the number of teams they have, if you can make it all that much better, unless you expanded Masters to 16 teams, and then you kind of just do a bracket going from there, which maybe is something they could do in coming days and weeks. Let's look at the stats real quick here. So Xerxia 2-0 over OpTic. They, of course, find themselves in a very tough spot now. Ye's the only one positive. Actually, Crash is also positive, as kind of Ye, after those initial few great rounds, fell off to some degree on the rest of Icebox. And also on Ascent as well, he had a pretty tough time going 17-17 on the Jets. But loads of streaks of rounds back and forth, and Xerxia win this one 13-10. Surf and Fox and Sushi Boys as well, all just played incredibly well. So this is what it means for the rest of the tournament. Fnatic NIP play today, as do Xerxia Liquid. So the winner of Group B will be determined. I don't really know how to call this series, right? Because I want to say Xerxia just impressed me very much, but I don't know. I want to take maybe Liquid 2-1. I'm not really sure what I want to do in this series. It's really tough to call. Fnatic, I think, should be NIP. They will then play DRX if they win that one. But yeah, this is how Group A looks. This is how Group B looks. And of course, I'm kind of the big story of this one being the OpTic versus Crew series. Not happening today, happening tomorrow. The loser of that goes out. And then, let's say Liquid do beat Xerxia and OpTic beat Crew, then there'll be another rematch of the OpTic Xerxia stuff to determine who qualifies. That would be epic. Just wanted to mention this as well before we close out the video, because I kind of wanted to save the sad news towards the end. Unfortunately, I don't want to kind of ruin the vibe at the start of the video. But if you guys heard about this, you might be aware of the Revive Me Jet meme, which is an absolute classic clip. If you guys search it up on YouTube, you'll find it very easily. The player behind that has unfortunately passed away. So really sad. Hope his family are coping well. But thought I'd share this with you guys. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.